Welcome to Back to the Feature, where I watch the full movie so you don't have to. I'm your host, Wen, and today we're diving into Prom Night from 1980, where Jamie Lee Curtis once again watches her friends die and becomes the final girl. The year is 1974, and Wendy, Jude, Kelly, and Nick play a hide-and-seek game in an abandoned building when poor little Robin makes the mistake of wanting to join them. Being the little assholes they are, they bully her, chase her through the halls, and end up scaring her so badly that she falls out a window to her death. At first, the four friends are torn between getting help or keeping quiet. Ultimately, they end up swearing a pact to not tell anyone what happened. You know, because it would suck to go to jail at their age. While they sneak off, they don't notice that there was someone else there that saw the whole thing. We don't know who it is because we can only see their shadow. 6 years later, Prom Night lands on the anniversary of Robin's death. Robin's twin brother Alex and her older sister Kim are well adjusted at Alexander Hamilton Senior High School, while Wendy, Jude, Kelly, and Nick have kept their childhood secret buried all this time. All seems well, but then Jude gets an anonymous phone call. Think Scream without the voice changer and pop quiz. The call doesn't rattle her at all though. She's too busy accepting a ride to school from a stranger who goes by the name Slick and drives a pimped out 70s van. Kelly's next up on the call sheet. She's a bit more sensitive and gets freaked out a bit. She tells her boyfriend Drew about it, but he's not much help. Our mystery caller tries to call Nick, but he had already left for school. We then learn that Nick's dad is a detective who 6 years ago had tried to arrest a local sex offender named Leonard Murch, who was the prime suspect in Robin's death. During the police chase, Murch wrecked his car and got badly burned in the process. Turns out old Murch woke up from his coma and escaped last night, so he's basically a Michael Myers knockoff at this point. Wendy is the last one to get the call. She's still a piece of work though and promptly hangs up before heading off to school in her sweet Corvette. As we saunter through the halls, we learn that Kim is dating Nick, who used to date Wendy. If Kim only knew. Alex gets called into the principal's office for fighting when he stands up for his sister's honor against school bully Lou Farmer. Think Buddy Repperton, but dumber. And yep, that's Leslie Nielsen as the principal, who also happens to be Alex's dad. Alex gets off easy and Lou is suspended indefinitely. Nick has to keep a poker face while Kim talks about how hard it is because it's the anniversary of Robin's death. It's tough for her to be excited about prom when she's thinking about her dead sister. He almost breaks the pact, but he's saved when Kim has to leave. Wendy teams up with Lou to create a little chaos at the prom. So now we're going to get a bit of Carrie thrown in here. Wendy's just using Lou to mess with Nick, but Lou doesn't care. Does that look like the face of someone who cares about anything? Our mystery caller takes things up a notch when he hangs a yearbook photo of Wendy in her locker. She's not amused at all. Kim and Kelly are the last ones left in the locker room when they get a bit of a scare from the other room. When they go to investigate, they find someone destroyed the giant mirror on the wall. When they look outside, there's no one around, so they go back in and notice that a piece of the mirror is missing. At prom rehearsal, the student body is already voted and Kim and Nick are going to be prom king and queen. Meanwhile, Jude finds her picture in the locker room with a small piece of the mirror sticking out of it. Kelly then shows up with her own yearbook photo. At the prom, the theme is Disco Madness, and there's Leslie Nielsen, principal by day and disco king by night. When Wendy shows up with Lou, Kim decides to get Nick on the dance floor to show off their moves. This is a precursor to Jamie Lee strutting her stuff in later movies like Perfect and True Lies. Kelly decides she's going to have sex with Drew, so it's off to the dark locker room for sexy time. Only sexy time isn't what Drew is going to be having because Kelly changes her mind, causing him to show his true colors as he storms off, leaving her all alone. As she gets dressed, the killer shows up behind her and slits her throat. Then he just leaves her there bleeding out while everyone else enjoys the dance. Outside, Jude and Slick are having some sexy time of their own in the back of his van. For you young people out there, these types of vans were very popular in the 1970s and were commonly known as shag wagons. While they enjoy an after booty doobie, the killer quietly sneaks up to the back of the van. When he yanks the door open, Jude falls halfway out and he stabs her to death with his trusty mirror knife. Slick knocks the killer on his ass and tries to drive off, but the killer manages to get inside and attack him while he's driving. The killer jumps out just before Slick drives off a cliff, exploding into a big ball of fire. So yeah, he's dead. Wendy is fixing her makeup in the restroom when the killer comes after her, and he's upped his game a bit because now he has an axe. She's smart enough to run, but eventually ends up cornered in a utility closet. Why do people always run to the empty part of the school instead of just running back to where all the people are? I'm pretty sure he would have found her eventually, but she gives herself away when she screams after finding one of her friend's dead bodies. She forgets her situation and bolts out the door only to run right into the killer, who promptly murders her with the axe. While the body count rises off stage, Nick and Kim get ready to be crowned king and queen. Lou and his goons jump Nick, tie him up backstage, and Lou steals his place because apparently being an a-hole all night isn't enough for this guy. His ego trip lasts all of about 5 seconds though, because the masked killer mistakes Lou for Nick and decapitates him with the axe, sending his severed head rolling onto the stage in front of the crowd. The dance instantly goes from disco madness to a full screaming stampede. Kim frees Nick and they try to make a break for it but get cut off by the masked killer. While the killer is trying to kill Nick, Kim manages to get her hands on the axe and cracks the killer in the head with the side of the axe blade. The killer is dazed, and for a brief second there's a strange moment where he locks eyes with Kim and the look on her face tells you that she knows who it is. The killer staggers outside as the police pull up and Kim runs out begging them not to shoot. As the killer staggers along, we get flashbacks to the day Robin fell out of the window. Just before Nick's dad can shoot, Kim throws herself in harm's way to protect the killer. As Kim removes the mask, the killer is revealed to be Alex, Robin's twin, who was there that day and saw what happened to his sister and has spent 6 years carrying his own personal secret. He says they killed her, and then he dies. Worst prom ever. That's the end. That's it. We never know if Nick ends up confessing the truth or if he kept it to himself, since the only other people that knew were dead. We also have no idea why Alex never told his parents or the police what he saw. So as far as slasher films go, I found this one to be on the weaker side. The kills were kind of cheesy and sort of off screen. It also didn't help that every time he killed someone, they did this weird whisper thing. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit like, drop your thoughts about the movie in the comments, and subscribe for more retro carnage every week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next Back to the Feature.